country is, the state of this nation, and where we believe the country needs to go, what things need to be addressed for the country to go forward. I don't think actually I need to go into too much detail about where we are today. Where we are is not in a good place. And maybe I can just use a few examples to illustrate the issue. When we got independence, I think we had an economy which was not inclusive of black people, but nevertheless it was actually an economy which was functioning. If we look at this region and this city in particular, the railways were pretty well centered here, not because people preferred to have it in Matabeleland as such, but because when you look at the geography and the connections into South Africa, into Botswana, Bulawayo actually made sense for it to be the center of the railways. Matabeleland, in terms of weather and the type of land, lends itself to animal husbandry. So it is, if you like, it's the region where the country should be getting most of its beef. As a result, this cold storage used to be here. But when you look at where we are today, all of these things have virtually disappeared. Either they've been moved elsewhere, but there are many ways in which you can explain it. But the fact is, what is visible is that economic activity slowly retreated from this region into other parts of the country in the first instance. But as usually is the case, when that happens, over time you will find that actually things disappear altogether. So you start off thinking things are being shifted from one part to another, favoring one group over another, but ultimately that kind of management doesn't work for anybody. So this region may be hardest hit, but the truth of the matter is that the country as a whole is not in a good place economically. Jobs have disappeared, firstly here, and then across the whole country generally. So the economy, not in a good place. That's one element, which I believe needs to be addressed. The second element I would observe about where we are is that we call ourselves Zimbabweans, but we do not behave as that term would suggest. We are not joined up. We are not one. And in my opinion, there is no nation anywhere in the world which succeeds when its people are not united. So one of the key elements that you should be asking of anybody who offers themselves is potentially asking for your vote, and as I would put it, asking for you to give them a job of leading this country, because that's what you're doing through your vote. You are literally like an employer giving somebody the job of leading this country. When anybody offers themselves, you need to ask them what they're going to do about creating cohesion. It's very important. The second element is that there are institutions of state, or should I say, there are institutions that are supposed to serve the country as institutions of state. What are those? Central Intelligence Services, the police services, the army, the judiciary. These institutions are meant, if they are going to deliver what they're supposed to deliver to the citizen, there must be institutions of state. They cannot function properly if they are attached to a party. They should belong to the people's government and serve all citizens. The minute these institutions appear to be appendages of a political party, then they will not serve all the citizens. And I don't think I need to go into any details about how our institutions in those categories function as of today. We all know that they function as serving a political party as opposed to serving the nation of Zimbabwe. So I think for me, you can go down in terms of the economy, what am I talking about? What would I do differently? Firstly, I don't think you can say you are running a country when you develop that country in a manner that is not equitable. I think that nobody can dispute that Matabeleland and the Midlands to some extent have been left behind in the development of this country. I've just illustrated, I could give you other illustrations. When the railways were electrified, in spite of the fact that this city was essentially the center of our railways, the electrification stopped in Gweru. What is the logic? You can't give me a logic which actually puts those two things together. This is the center of the railways. I've explained to you why, geographically, and then you electrify the railways and you stop in Gweru rather than bringing the electrification to Bulawayo. Doesn't make sense. So if you're going to lead a country, lead it in a manner where the citizens across the country feel united, whether it is in prosperity or in suffering actually doesn't matter. But they should feel we are in it together. And when we are in it together, we will then agree how we prioritize, because resources are always limited. Any nation, as you know, is like a household. You don't always have all the money you need to do the things you want to do. So we, as a society, would need to agree on what the priorities were, on what the sequencing would be, would have to sacrifice today in order to benefit in the future. But we have to agree as a country, as a citizenry. That's the only way that makes sense in leading a country. Some of you would know that until last week, I've been saying to the population of Zimbabwe, in response to people asking me to consider entering the fray of elections, if you like. And to be very open about this, it was not only me people asked. They put my name forward, they put Strive's name forward, so that you understand, I'm not claiming any special place. I have responded, but I only responded last week and said, I'm ready to do this. I believe I can run this country completely differently from what's being done. But I also put forward that if I run, I'll run as an independent. And I want to explain why I've been saying that and why the change to a platform which is essentially a political party. My motivation for wanting to run as an independent started from this observation that not just Zimbabwe, but virtually the whole of our continent, and maybe even beyond, if you look at less developed countries where, again, we are amongst ourselves, I want to use, to call a spade a spade. Our politics are immature. And when you look at all countries that are called third world countries, you will discover that the ruling party runs the country the government runs the country for the party, not for the people. In every single case. And so my response was, in the light of this overwhelming evidence, I did not want to start off saying I'm running on behalf of a party. Because the evidence tells me that when that happens, the party captures the head of state. The evidence is there everywhere. The party captures the head of state. And the consequences of that is that people who are not qualified, as long as they belong to the party, get given jobs that they cannot do. We get them to run airlines, we get them to run the railways, we get them to be ministers, when they've got nothing to offer to the population. All they do is exercise patronage for the people that are within the umbrella of what they call our party. And that was why I said I wanted to run as an independent. But in the, let's say, last 3 months or so, when I've been thinking about this, I also took soundings from the population. And overwhelmingly, although there were people who appreciated what I was talking about, a lot of our people cannot identify with the idea of an independent candidate. They just can't deal with it. Because they think you'll be a loose cannon. You are not concerned with citizens. You're doing your own thing. So I considered, in the light of this feedback, that maybe for the time being, we need some kind of platform, whether you call it a movement or a party, it's the same thing. That's why we formed APA. But I am very clear in my mind. And I've told, this morning I had a meeting with people who now have joined us in this party. And I said to them, if you choose to join APA, understand one thing. You will not get a job you don't deserve just because you are a party member. That will not happen. And also, if you are not a member of the party, you will not necessarily be excluded from a job which you are qualified to do. Because the only thing I need to form an administration is that you are Zimbabwean. Everything else does not matter to me. Whether you are a woman or a man, or you've got whatever church, black or white, it doesn't matter. Are you a Zimbabwean? Are you qualified? Can you contribute? If you are in ZANU or MDC or belong to no party at all, if you qualify to do a job in my administration, you'll get the job. we've got to elevate the rights and obligations of a citizen should not be confused with any other subdivisions lower down. The only thing we need is to look at our population, look at our citizens, and build our country on that basis, and that basis alone, nothing else. So that's where I'm coming from. In terms of the economy, I think that we need to grow up in terms of how an economy functions. A government is like a referee in a football match. And if it is like a referee, a government cannot be both a player and a referee. The government has to withdraw into being a referee. And that is why you get situations like government decides that the cold storage should be in a place other than where it makes sense. Because the government then is being a player, not just a referee. That's why we've got hotels that are owned by a government when the private sector can execute without any need for government to participate. That's why we've got government owning a mining company when the private sector can do all of that. Government needs to legislate and regulate, not be a player. That way, it will create an environment where you, the entrepreneurs, can do what you know how to do best without any bias or whatever. Create an environment in which entrepreneurship, the private sector, can partner with the government and deliver economic growth to its people. For me, those are the three pillars. Just to summarize, cohesion of the nation. If we are divided, we will never succeed. Number two, institutions of state must not be appendages of a political party. Number three, the economy. Let's be clear about the role of government in an economy and not confuse being a referee and being a player. I think rather than me going on and on, I've framed what I believe in, how I would run the country. I think it's important for me to listen to what your concerns are, and I'll respond to those. Thank you very much.